art, architecture, music, and literature that we treasure to the present day. These pages document it all, showing with meticulous care how so many of our current institutions originated and developed within the Church, and how so many greats in all branches of human culture were Christian. The author carefully warns, however, that the current climate of secularism and pluralism is now fogging many of these facts. That is all the more reason for the reader to watch how this book dispels such mist in the name of historical truth. Some moderns with no religious beliefs, of course, have high ethical standards and often show humanitarian concerns quite independent of Jesus' teachings. Professor Schmidt, however, tellingly shows how such secular morality could hardly have been possible without a prior Judeo-Christian ethic that influenced generation after generation. Any noble pagan today recoils, for example, from the thought of killing babies, but noble pagans of antiquity prior to Christianity did not so recoil. For years, Christian apologetics, defending the faith, has intrigued me, and I have used historical and archaeological tools to demonstrate how admirably the sacred evidence of Scripture correlates with purely secular evidence from the ancient world. Yet Professor Schmidt's brilliant study has convinced me that the faith can also be splendidly defended on another front. Its record of being the most powerful agent in transforming society for the better across 2,000 years since Jesus lived on the earth. In a climate of multiculturalism and its mandate to find the truths in all world religions, it is hardly politically correct to say this, yet after reading this book I must. No other religion, philosophy, teaching, nation, movement, whatever, has so changed the world for the better as Christianity has done. Its shortcomings, clearly conceded by this author, are nevertheless heavily outweighed by its benefits to all mankind. You will relish these pages as they unveil these benefits. Paul L. Mayer, the Russell H. Siebert Professor of Ancient History, Western Michigan University, author of In the Fullness of Time and The Flames of Rome, a novel. Introduction. This book is a survey of the vast, pervasive influence that Christianity has had for 2,000 years on much of the world, especially in the West. Being a survey, the book does not pretend to provide a complete analysis or exhaustive discussion of the countless contributions that have resulted from Jesus Christ's life and teaching, effected through his followers. The book merely highlights some examples of the more prominent effects that Christ's profound influence has had on numerous components of human life. Thus, I am quite aware that in each chapter many additional examples could be cited. In fact, each chapter could be expanded into a book by itself. 3 compelling reasons prompted me to write this book. First, in December 1993, while researching for a Christmas sermon, I am a Lutheran clergyman who spent most of his professional life as a professor of sociology, I discovered that there was a pronounced paucity of information extant and available regarding the influence and impact that Jesus Christ has had on the world for 2,000 years. Yet, in a rather nebulous manner, many of us know that much of our culture, especially in the Western world, bears prominent imprints of Christ's influence. Much of that influence is still with us even in the ever-growing secular and religiously pluralistic milieu of today. But when one looks for particular examples in books and articles regarding the influence that Christ exerted through his followers, there is very little that has been specifically delineated. In this regard, there is a recent noteworthy exception, namely the book What If Jesus Had Never Been Born? Nelson, 1994, by D. James Kennedy and Jerry Newcomb. I referenced this book a number of times, and to a degree it provided me with some productive research leads for the present book. In earlier times, Edward Ryan published The History of the